What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla stock and break down something very, very important that is developing. Let me first mention that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you guarantee 20 free stocks. And the offer ends very soon in just a couple of weeks. Anyways, when it comes to the way the market is moving, I just want to say that right over here, as you guys can see, we have this support at this 173 area. Tesla has a head and shoulders setup, okay, but these setups don't always play out. And as of right now, the market's getting bought back up, and Tesla's actually trying to hold up. Now, we got a little dip on Tesla. Tesla actually dipped down with the overall market because we got this data. Basically, the services data was actually all hot. The ISM services was all like, for the most part, above expectations, except for employment. This shows us that yes, although core inflation could be more sticky, there is still strength in the economy, and that's despite the fact that the labor market is kind of contracting a little bit. So that's something else that's worth noting. But just to be very, very blunt and very clear with everyone, that's what we're like kind of seeing in the market right now. Market got a little dip, only to get bought back up, and buyers are still defending. For Tesla, right now we have some more data over here. I just want to call out that EVs at a 53.6% share in Sweden are actually seeing more and more exposure, and the Model Y is now back on top, at least in Sweden. Great news for Tesla, in my personal opinion. They have a list all the way down here about how the Model Y had over 845 sales in Sweden, making it the top EV in the entire country. Now, there was some negative headlines that came out about how the early Tesla bulls are giving up on the stock, and that's because of the fact that we actually saw some, early bulls like John Belton come out, their portfolio managers at different funds, and they actually sold their entire stakes of Tesla at about 65,900 shares. That's fine. They have the right to do whatever they want. But I just want to make it clear that if they never get back in, they're going to miss out on lots of gains for the long term, in my personal opinion. So, once again, not financial advice, but that's just the way I see it. How does Tesla look, in my opinion? Honestly, guys, we have to be very careful with Tesla. It's in a very, very critical place. So, Tesla did temporarily come below this support around 173, so it was showing some weakness, but the buyers came back and are trying to hold it up. So you want to be very careful. Tesla has a left shoulder here, we have a head, and we have a right shoulder. There is a risk of Tesla, eventually coming down to fill the gap, but we haven't really seen this thing get struck down and see a really, really nice fluid move down. What's happening is we dip a little bit. Yes, we even lose our lows. Okay, but then the buyers come back and they're still defending it, so it hasn't officially lost key supports. If we end up closing below the 173 area, if we see like a lot of sellers stepping in and it just fails to hold up, then yes, we could see Tesla come down to fill its gap. We could see Tesla dip all the way down to 168. As of right now, we're not really doing that. We're actually still seeing buyers defending, especially with the market holding up as well as it is. So that's something else that's worth noting. As of right now, Tesla is holding up. So I would say we did dip below where this range happens to be, only to get bought back up. We have support at 173, and then we have resistance around this 178 to 180 area. That's going to be the range that we have. We have this nice range as we're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? So there's a nice range on Tesla. But the issue is we did dip a little bit below this temporarily, only to get bought back up. So right now, it's not in the best of phases, and that's something else that's worth noting. I also want to call out something else that's important. When it comes to SPY, we had something very similar happen. SPY dipped today after we got the ISM services data, only to get bought back up. So it's continuing to pump, and we're continuing to make higher highs and higher lows as the market's continuing to pump higher. So I still see more upside potential. I do think SPY is going to break all-time highs soon. With this dip, once again, we dipped only to get bought back up. So the buyers are still stepping in. The buyers are still very strong. So they still have the edge. For Nvda, we're approaching resistance at 1200. I think that Nvidia could continue to try to fight that. If we do break that, I'll be looking at 1225. There's more upside potential in Nvidia. Watch 1200 as resistance and still holding up very well. The QQQ is approaching the 460 area. If we reject off here, we'll be looking for a little dip all the way down to 458. If we break through this, I'll be looking at 461. But in my personal opinion, I think that there is more, at least upside for the QQQ. So there is upside potential in the triple Q. I think that we could continue to pump. As far as Aapl goes, Aapl, in my personal opinion, has this 196 area as resistance, and we have 195 as support. So I think that there is more upside potential. Overall, Apple's holding it very well, and I think that this could continue to push. So overall, it's holding it very, very nicely. For more tickers out there, I just wanted to call out Coinbase. Coinbase is holding up very well. We have a very nice looking 4 hour structure. We're looking at this 250 areas resistance and eventually higher levels at much higher zones. So we also have this imbalance all the way up here at 257. I'm seeing upside potential for 252 and eventually 255 plus, then 257. But watch 250, and we'll see how well we break through this. It's still looking bullish overall. For Amazon has this 180.7 area. If we break through this, we'll be pushing all the way up towards 182. And then we also have more potential, in my personal opinion. If we get a rejection right here, we'll be looking at 179 as support. Overall, I think that there is more upside potential, and we'll just have to see how things go. But Amazon's holding up very, very well, and I think that it could continue to push. For the IWM Russell 2000, sorry, the IWM is right here. Sorry about that, guys. We're holding up well. We actually held the 202 support, so I'll be looking for a push towards 204. Overall, it's looking pretty good. And then we have Meta. Meta is holding above 485. If this continues to hold, we'll continue to pump higher. And then we have 492 as our support. But overall, it's still looking bullish, so it's still holding up very, very well. So we'll see how things go from there. For GameStop has resistance around 30. If we break through this, I'll be looking at 32 as resistance. For AMC, we're looking a bit more bullish. I think that we have 5 as our potential target. If we do break and close above this, I could be looking for a lot more upside. As long as we're, as long as we're above 4.64, we're going to be completely fine, and this could continue to bounce. The VIX also has support all the way down here. We are dipping. We have a gap to fill down here. We're just trying to hold this support over here, but there is a gap to fill, which tells me the VIX is going to dip lower and the market has more upside. So I do anticipate new all-time highs for many tickers. As far as Tesla goes, we're still holding up well. I posted another video kind of like earlier on, just like about 10 minutes ago, where I was a little concerned, but I wanted to change my view on something. I wanted to make a very important correction to that video. So I want to make it clear that Tesla's, we have a head and shoulders like structure. Yes. Is there a risk of Tesla dipping? Yes, there is. There is still that risk, but Tesla's not really getting a big break. We're not really losing this range. We want to just still hold it up. We did see Tesla dip below it, which made me a little concerned, only to get bought back up. So far, it's still holding up well, and we will see if we continue to dip from here. So that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Please have an absolutely incredible rest of the day. And just know that right now, Tesla is still, it's holding up decently. We're seeing buyers defend it very, very well, but there's a big but. Let's see if it could continue to hold these levels. That's going to be the most important thing. Do we lose support? Do we continue to hold the levels? I'm going to be very patient with this and see. This year, I've seen a lot of head and shoulders traps where they have them forming and they just kind of trap people. People start shorting and then they end up pumping the stock instead. So we'll see. In order to know if it's going to pump or dump, just watch the levels. If we close below 173, then I think there's a risk of Tesla dipping more. If we close above 180, it could bounce and continue to pump. So we will just wait and see. As of right now, we're not below 173. We're getting buyers defending it with the overall market. So we'll just be very patient and give this even more time. All right. So be patient. Do what you have to do, guys. I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you for listening and peace out.